everybody. It's Jamie.
Hi, I'm Gemma.
From Play to Learn Preschool. We're sitting kind of by a window so that you can see this next little thing that we're going to talk about, but the lighting looks really good like this. We should always
put it so much younger.
Look at that nice light. Happy Wednesday. Would you believe we had another snow day delay today? So we did not see our students on Monday.
There was a delay yesterday and a delay today.
Two-hour delays. So we've seen them a total 3 hours the whole week. Gemma texted me this morning before school started. She said, what day is it?
Feels like it's been,
is it Friday?
The longest week. It's so strange.
We've worked 3 hours total and we're like, is it Friday yet? It's so hard to have them for such a short time because they don't understand the schedule change. It's just too tricky for them. So, hello. Thank you for joining us. Today we thought we would go through and answer some of the questions that we receive almost every day about our puppet, Betsy. So, hi you guys. We are going to share with you how, why, and what we do with puppets in our classroom. We're going to try to convince you that it's essential for a preschool teacher to reach her students to have some type of a puppet, some kind of an gimmick to get the kids' attention. And then we're going to answer your questions live. So if you have questions about puppets, type them in the comments and we will do our best. Jen will put on her reading glasses.
I can't see.
She can't see them.
I can kind of see it.
Can you? We'll do our best to answer them. So, okay, first things first. Do you see that?
I can go and point it.
I can look.
Do you want me to go back there?
No, I think it's okay.
Okay, everyone can see that.
You see that mailbox? It's above my easel area. So this is where we do our pocket chart lessons, our calendar. This is where I write. We have got our birthdays. This is kind of the main area for our whole group meetings. And right above the easel, my husband built a little corner shelf from the very get-go. And on that shelf is a mailbox from Home Depot. Inside the mailbox lives our class puppet.
It's Betsy.
It's Betsy.
Betsy's been with us since the beginning.
Hello, boys and girls. Hi, friends.
Now, if you look at pictures of Betsy from the beginning, she's much fluffier. She's lost a few feathers over the years.
She's lost a few feathers.
I've gained a few gray hairs too.
Nice lighting. Hi, everybody. Betsy is a puppet that lives right above my chair over there in her mailbox.
In that mailbox.
Hi. The puppets. Okay, so we are going to answer some of your questions. Can you keep some of those in your mind? Okay. The puppet was a yard sale purchase that I got before I was a preschool teacher. I just saw her when I was yard selling with a girlfriend one morning. I didn't even have kids. She was 50 cents. Don't tell her because she's much more valuable than that. I feel like I gotta steal. And she comes out every morning to greet the students. She's really good. What would you say that they respond to her better?
They do. You can sit there and start talking and then you get Betsy out and their focus shifts from your face to Betsy's face straight away.
Our students who, I'm having a hard time holding with my left hand. Our students who maybe don't like to make eye contact or don't talk as much, will talk to Betsy. She comes out just briefly in the morning to greet them. She talks like this. Hi, everybody. I do not, somebody asked, last summer I did a workshop, an online workshop, and somebody asked if I had taken ventriloquism lessons.
When you're holding a puppet, they don't look at you, they look at the puppet. It can be any kind of puppet. It doesn't have to be a beautiful blackbird, crow.
You don't think I have great ventriloquism skills?
No, you don't need
hold
them.
it with my left hand. You don't need, and I don't have any ventriloquism. I also don't have any voices. Although if Gemma ever gets her out, oddly enough,
they don't really seem to notice the accent change.
But Betsy does speak with a British accent when Gemma gets her out of the mailbox.
And they don't seem to, that doesn't bother them either.
If you are self-conscious about using a puppet or speaking with a puppet, A, check that at the door because you're a preschool teacher, so you kind of have to get over that. Yeah. And B, I've heard some people, their puppets whisper to them.
So when I'm holding Betsy, sometimes she'll do that. to me, just so that I don't confuse them so much with that. Especially for the older kids, because they're more like,
Betsy says you're being such good helpers. Thank you for asking all these questions about puppets. Or I'll say, oh, Betsy likes how you're all sitting in the circle time. So you can do it either way. She talks for me because I don't have any puppet skills. Deborah Stewart once told me that she took a puppeting class. Deborah Stewart from Teach Preschool.
Wow.
Over a summer when she was maybe in college. I don't know. And they said when you talk, you're supposed to open the mouth like this. Hello. And then when you're done, you're supposed to close the mouth. But I think I always do it backwards. Hi, everybody. Like, I think I don't have any skill.
You don't need skills when you're using a puppet. You don't really need puppetry skills.
Hold on, my chair is crooked.
You don't need puppetry skills. The kids do not judge on your puppetry skills.
True story.
The one question they do ask often, is that a real bird?
Or they'll say, is it real?
Is it real? And we say, it's a real puppet.
If they ask if it's a real bird, I'll say, no, she's a bird puppet. And then if they say, but is she real?
And we say, she's
yes,
a real puppet.
She's a real puppet. And they'll say, is your hand in her? And I say, yes. Somebody did ask, are the puppets available for the kids to play with? Not this puppet. So she is definitely a magical being up in the mailbox that only the teachers get out.
She would be bold.
She would be.
Because, with the wear and tear, she's a little bit flimsy.
We have other puppets that we get out for them to do puppet theater, but not Betsy. She's kind of like our magical class puppet.
Sometimes she gets left out accidentally because we're busy and then they're, Betsy's still out.
They won't touch her.
And they're like, you need to put her back in the mailbox now because she needs to take a nap. They do get really worried. So she comes out in the morning to greet them, and we also almost always use every day Betsy to introduce whatever we're teaching that day. Yeah.
A lot of people, I'm going to set her down here, Bets. A lot of people have asked me via email or Facebook comments. This is the most uncomfortable chair I've ever sat in my life.
It's pretty uncomfortable. It's making me sit up straight, but ow. It's going to be a short video.
I can't fit my legs under the table. I'm going to have to switch chairs. People have asked, how do you get your kids to listen when you talk to them? And the question kind of makes me think first, what are you asking them to listen to? Are you lecturing or like doing some kind of like talk and talk, like I'm going to tell you all the things you need to know? That doesn't work with preschoolers. If they're just not flat listening, you need a gimmick. Because the kids could be all over the room and I'm starting circle time and I'm like, come to the carpet, come to the carpet. Maybe they're at the beginning of the year, they're not used to the routine. And if I get the puppet out and start talking, it's like a magnet. All the kids come over. They're all looking at the puppet. They all want to know what she's going to say. So it's a really good way to get their attention and to share information. So here are some examples of ways that we use Betsy to introduce different themes that we're studying, units of study, different centers in our classroom, and I don't know, writing, reading, all the different ways. I have to change chairs. My legs do not fit underneath this. We're sitting, look at this. I'm sorry. We're sitting on these stools and my legs do not fit. Hold on. You think I'm kidding?
They're not the most comfortable of stools.
Would you like them?
No, it's fine. I'll suffer through it.
Sorry. I can't sit on that for the whole video.
Oh, good now.
That's a bit better. Thank you. Sorry. That was not working with my legs under the table. Okay. Love that we're so casual.
Hey, well, I put a necklace on.
She did put a necklace on. That's not casual. This is fancy, man. Okay, here's an example. So Betsy might come out of her mailbox, and Gemini set this up the afternoon before, and she might have...
I mean, she has no ears.
She has no ears, no legs.
And no wings. I mean, sometimes it's a little tricky to kind of work some stuff in, but,
she'll come out of her mailbox, and I'll say, oh, Betsy, what do you have? And we'll look at what she has.
What does she have?
It's hard to see because her feathers. And she's wearing a little stethoscope and she's got a dog. And I'll say, Betsy, what's wrong? And she might whisper to me or tell everybody, my dog is sick. What should I do? And this visual of having a sick dog, I'll make up a better story about like the dog was coughing and had a fever, whatever. I'll make up a better story. We'll get the kids start thinking like, oh no, what do you do when an animal is sick? Like, we should take it to the doctor. What kind of a doctor helps sick animals? Does anybody have an animal at home who ever gets sick or goes to the doctor? Your brother says, hi, Betsy. And they'll say, yeah, my dog got sick and we had to take him to the vet. And that would be the introduction that we need or that we use when we're setting up a veterinarian clinic in our dramatic play area.
Yeah.
Betsy has a sick dog. She needs to take him to the vet.
Now you might not have a little miniature stethoscope,
Who doesn't have a miniature stethoscope?
but Jamie has young girls, so they like American Girl doll, and this is an accessory. They have great little accessories that work for our puppets. So, but you don't need to have anything this fancy. You could just have a little pet and wrap its leg with a bandage, and that's going to be enough to explain what you're going to do.
A lot of times we'll actually pull the real props from the Dramatic Play Center. Like I will pull the real stethoscope that the kids are playing with and put it in her mailbox, and we can introduce the names of the materials there at circle time before they go and play. Here's another example of something that we might do. So she might come out of her mailbox this month in January.
She can't use her left hand for this. It's just
I
quite
can't
funny
use my
to
left
watch
hand
this.
with Betsy. She's a right-hand puppet. And she'll have this little bucket. And, you know, the boys and girls, you're asking how do they listen? Well, they want to know what's in here. So, Betsy, what's in your mailbox? And we'll take a look at all the
She
things.
can't speak when she's holding a bucket.
I'll ask her, Betsy, what's in your mailbox?
And she puts the bucket down and tells them.
I might put Betsy down too. It's not it's not complicated. And we'll say, oh, look, we have two animals in here. We have, the lighting is weird on the polar bear.
It's good on us, but not so much on the toys.
A penguin and a polar bear. What do we know about these? And this might be how I introduce the concept of North Pole and South Pole, or opposites, at the end of the month after we've learned about the different polar animals. So just something really simple that takes me 2 seconds to put together is a great way to lead the discussion at circle time about the topic or introduce the lesson or whatever you're
And
doing.
she's the magnet to get everybody focused. Once you have them, you can actually put your puppet down and you're good to go.
Once you got them, take advantage
So
of
Betsy
it.
is obviously the size of your hand. It's
Somebody
a small
asked that,
puppet.
how big is your bird? And I was like,
Betsy's like hand size.
half the length of my
arm
hand to my
size.
elbow.
So it actually works really well for buying her outfits at the pet store because she fits in an extra small dog size.
She fits in extra small dog size costumes.
She does. So the best time to get those is after Halloween and clearance. Because who wants to spend tons of money for your bird puppet?
This was 75 cents at the pet store. It was after Christmas. They had Christmas costumes for your dog, and this is an extra small penguin costume for your dog. But it fits Betsy. So when we're learning about penguins, you can bet that one day we're gonna pull Betsy out of her mailbox and she's gonna be dressed
like a penguin.
because that makes sense. And then we can talk about all the things we know about penguins, right?
Yeah, Betsy loves hearing all the things they know.
She does. When it is Halloween, she always has a costume.
She has a couple of costumes.
She does
We
have a
like
couple
to
of
change it up. She has this very stylish jack-o'-lantern that she wears.
Picture me at the PetSmart on November 1st every
Do
year.
you take her with you?
No.
You should. That would be fun. It should be like an outing for her.
You should take her with you to the pet store on November
would do
1st. It's usually me at PetSmart texting Gemma or FaceTiming Gemma from the dog costume aisle. Like,
Oh, do you think Betsy would like this? I'm like, you should have taken her, and then you could have asked her.
could Betsy dress up like a bat when we're learning about nocturnal animals?
And see, she can.
She's good at
there's
ears.
We have to pin stuff to her because the things fall.
No ears.
And then here's her little jack-o'.
She could be a jack-o'-lantern, but I'm the crazy lady in the PetSmart who's texting or FaceTiming Gemma, asking about puppet costumes.
She
Okay.
has a variety of different outfits.
She's
Obviously
got a
the Halloween
sweatshirt
one.
for when it's cold outside. This is also a dog costume. This was my actual dog costume until she grew, my actual dog coat until she grew out of it. It's got armholes.
But definitely check in the
Well,
sales stuff because she has no wings, so it's like the kids don't notice that stuff. Like they don't say anything.
But when the weather changes from winter to fall, then you got problems.
We've got 3 hours this week.
When if it ever changes from winter to fall, you should stop what you're doing. If I could turn back time, if I could
Sorry.
find a way.
I think we've lost our mind here.
If it changes from summer to fall, and we want to talk to the kids about what happens when it's fall, if I don't have the puppet and I just say to the kids, so we're gonna start talking about fall and some of the things that change when it's fall. And then if you have a really smart kid, they're like, oh, I know the leaves change.
But if you have 3-year-olds, they can't remember.
They're going to say something like,
They
fall.
They don't know what the fall was. They don't
Yesterday I
remember
fell.
I fell. I got a boo-boo. And
I
then
got a boo-boo.
Then you're done. You're done. That's the whole circle time. Is everyone comparing their boo-boos.
Boo-boos.
You've
Yeah,
lost it.
and then that was fall. So you need something to anchor their discussion. Like, why is Betsy wearing a sweatshirt today? She didn't wear a sweatshirt last week. Why do you think she needs a sweatshirt? It's because the air is getting colder outside. And when it gets colder, we have to
need to wear a jacket.
Yes, wear warmer clothes, exactly. And we can tell when we start wearing warmer clothes and it starts to get chilly outside that the season is changing to fall. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they go home and tell their parents,
I never wear a jacket. It's getting cold. It's fall.
or guess what Betsy had on today? She was wearing a sweatshirt. Do you know why?
Because it's fall.
Because it's fall, right, or autumn.
One of our parents a few years ago made, it's hard to see with the weird lighting, but it's a little hat. Oh, there you go. It's a little hat that one of our parents made.
Adorable.
With a scarf. Now, I couldn't make this, and Jamie couldn't make this, so thank you to,
Thanks, Gretchen.
Gretchen.
We love our hat still.
We still use this.
5-10 years later.
we have to pin it to our head because it doesn't stay on.
So when the weather changes from fall to winter, that does happen.
Yes, it does.
Betsy comes out of her mailbox and we're going to be talking about the seasonal changes, and she's wearing a scarf and a hat. This is the anchor that we use for our students to start talking about the change of the seasons. Why is Betsy wearing a hat and a scarf?
Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
Simple.
A lot of times I'll just grab whatever the center is, the manipulative that's new that I'm introducing, whatever it is, I'll just grab it and throw it in her mailbox. And when she introduces it, they listen.
Okay, another thing, sometimes we have kids throughout the year who have to start wearing glasses.
Every year.
It's a big deal because kids don't want to wear glasses and they're self-conscious or they just don't like them on their face, any reason. So Betsy has her own glasses. Where did you get? Are these American Girl dolls? But if
I
you
think
don't
so.
have them, Mr. Potato Head glasses fit too. I mean, it depends on your puppet, but for our bird, they
Depends
fit.
on your puppet.
Depends on your puppet, depends on your bird. So we normally put her glasses on and she'll wear them like, oh, Betsy had glasses too. And then all of a sudden everyone actually wants to wear glasses. But the child who's recently got them feels less self-conscious and is really happy to be twinsy with Betsy.
Absolutely. A couple more things before I talk about some alternatives or some, I don't know what the right word is. We, like I was saying, introduce our centers with Betsy, especially dramatic play. So maybe about 4 years ago, Gemma and I took her on a trip, on a conference trip. Maybe it was 3 years ago.
It's when we went to California to Macy.
And Gemma, God bless her, carried Betsy through the airport and took photographs of her that we turned into a book about Betsy going on an airplane.
Yeah. She had a nice time.
They did not have any birdseed on the plane for her.
I know. And Jamie's like, you're not going to ask the pilot. I'm like, yes, I am. And
So
I did.
She climbed right in the cockpit at the end of the flight with the bird.
Can I take a picture with my puppet? And the guy's like,
True story.
okay. And they were all really fair game. So you could take your puppet wherever and take some pictures, make a book, or Betsy has her own book series.
That idea of taking pictures on the airplane spurred this idea that every time we would put out a new dramatic play, I would make a little book about how to do that dramatic play center. And this is how we introduce dramatic play to our students. So for example, this is Betsy has a birthday party. And it says you're invited to Betsy's birthday party. These come with our dramatic play printables. Betsy works in the kitchen to make a birthday cake. She uses flour, eggs, sugar, and butter. Next, she wants to decorate for the party. Betsy gathers the supplies that she needs. See, there she is. Anyway, it goes through and just talks about how to have a birthday party, how Betsy had a birthday party. And look, she's so cute in her little hat. And this is a fun book that we would read before we introduce a birthday party dramatic play center. So don't overthink it, but we use the puppet almost every day to introduce the theme, the center, the art supply, whatever it is. That's how we get our kids to listen.
Yeah.
Because talking to them just doesn't usually work.
Now sometimes towards like the middle of the year, they kind of
They might get a little bit.
Yeah, like, oh, it's only Betsy. They're kind of like us. Oh, they're talking again. Betsy's talking again. So this is when we change it up.
Exactly. They almost get used to her like they would get used to listening to a teacher.
Mm.
So we have to outsmart them because we are smarter than the 3-year-olds. We can do this. So if your
Most of the
students,
time.
most of the time, if your students are not paying great attention to your puppet, it's time to switch it up. Our puppet does not like the snow. So when it snows, she leaves. And we bring out an alternative puppet, one of her cousins. The puppet, depending on what we're doing and really depending on Gemma and me, what we feel like, might be this really cute penguin named Bailey. It might be this sweet little shy owl.
This one.
So Gemma's favorite.
Yeah, because I say how shy she is, and then they're really quiet. So at that time of year when they're all really crazy and rambunctious and quiet, because Ollie is really
So shy.
She won't like the noise.
Can you imagine
I
how
got this
many?
from IKEA, by the way.
Super cute. Can you imagine how many kids are paying attention when every day we open the box and it's Betsy with a prop, Betsy with a thing to talk about, whatever. And one day we open the mailbox and Betsy's not there. Can you imagine what percentage of our students then are paying attention? It's 100, right? They're like, what do you mean Betsy's gone? That has never happened
Sometimes
before.
they're a little sad.
Well, they're interested. Is sad or
They're like,
interested?
oh, where's Betsy?
Like,
And
where
they
did she
worry
leave?
where she's gone.
So we have 4 alternate bird
right.
cousins.
Okay.
So we've got the penguin, and we only use one
One-
every a year or one at a time.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to pull a second one out during the spring fever because sometimes it gets a little crazy. This is a wild duck named Peabody. I got it at the Peabody Hotel in Memphis, and it sings songs.
Which we don't need to do. You don't really need to
I love
say
that
too
puppet.
much when this one's out.
Oh, you don't have to say too much. And we have this
Yeah.
gigantic bird who we haven't used for a few years and whose name we don't remember. So I'm hoping the kids don't either.
I don't even remember if it fits in the mailbox.
I think it barely fits. I think it's fit.
I think that's why we don't use it very much.
It's
That's
huge.
a very- yeah.
But we have these bird cousins. So it's like another trick in our toolbox. If the kids are not paying attention to Betsy or they've lost their interest, she's kind of lost her novelty, she's gone. She goes on vacation.
Yeah.
She needs a break. And one of her cousins appears.
Yeah.
When that happens, it's usually about the time when our students, especially our pre-K kids, are very interested in writing. And we often use it to spur shared writing experiences with them. So here's a few examples of what we might do if a cousin appears in the mailbox.
So Bailey normally stays for about a month.
First, we might get a letter up in my mailbox from Betsy. This is an example of what happens when she leaves. Dear friends, brr, it's cold in Virginia. I decided to fly to Florida, where it is warm. My cousin Bailey from the South Pole will visit with you while I'm gone. See you soon. Love, Betsy. I know it's backwards. So this letter might appear in our mailbox. One year, we took a picture of Betsy laying on a beach towel with sunglasses and
Like a little bottle of tan lotion.
it was like a postcard. We sent a postcard of Betsy off on vacation at the beach.
That was what we must have been really organized that year because I think it only happened that one time.
We must have been really
Really
organized that year. But then a lot of times, if she's been gone for a few days or a couple of weeks, the kids will wonder when she's coming back. And we might decide to do a shared writing where we write Betsy a letter to ask her if and when she's ever going to come back. Sorry, this is loud. So this is on a gigantic piece of chart paper. And so I had written the framework for a letter. Dear Betsy, we miss you. Please come back.
It's warm outside.
It is warm outside because she said she was leaving. It was too cold. And then the kids all signed their names.
We drew little pictures.
And they helped fill in some of the missing letters. And they drew pictures. And then we mailed it to Betsy. She must have brought it back with her when she came because I still have it. But we have lots of examples and samples of that from the years. This one is going to make me tear up. But this is my own daughter, Leah. So if anybody's watching who are little alums, this is my own daughter, Leah, when she was 5, and my son Evan when he was 4. This is the letter that we sent to Betsy. They are 15 and 16 now. Isn't that sad? Anyway, I keep all the letters that they write. We take pictures of the kids to send to Betsy, and we really just try to incorporate that into all of our lessons. So if we need to work on writing, we'll write Betty a letter. We'll write Betsy a letter. Anyway, we just try to keep school fun for them. We try to keep their attention with gimmicks and things that are interesting to them. We always try to bring something that they can see, touch, do, like the manipulatives, like the polar bear or the penguin, like the books, like the things that they can help them anchor the discussions when they're talking about things.
Someone has a turtle and that who's
hibernating.
And now you have a squirrel. That's a great idea.
See, it's really just trying to make it fun for the kids and meeting the learning objectives at the same time. One other thing we wanted to show you.
So Betsy's so important in our classroom, and she's the extra teacher.
She is our third teaching partner.
Yeah.
We did a video of this in 2016, the very first time when we started doing videos. And I think it's called like Meet Our Third Teaching Partner.
So she's so important that we normally try and incorporate her into our yearbook that we give out to the students at the end of the year. Here's Betsy on the front, just a clip art Betsy. And here's a picture that we had taken. There's Betsy and us. Betsy's so important to us.
Somebody said that they had their Life Touch people take Betsy. We always have her take Betsy too.
So that's what happened here. We actually had one of our 3-year-olds stood behind us and got to hold Betsy because it's impossible to do it any other way, really. And then there's this on the Betsy's like front page of this one. Look at that, she's on the cover.
She's really important. I actually don't know if we could be as effective as teachers without her. Because having something like that grabs their attention, that assures that 100% of the kids are listening, that they have something to go home and tell their parents about, that was so exciting, that Betsy was gone, she migrated. That's what makes preschool special. That's what makes it memorable. And that's what kids come back and see us and ask about.
We had a reunion a couple of years ago, and so the kids who are now in 10th grade, the first thing they said is, just not Betsy. Like,
it was so sweet.
Really, you remember Betsy? And someone like, I really only remember Betsy. I'm like, well, thanks.
Yeah, it's really
They remember
sweet.
Betsy.
Because it's so magical and so special and so interesting every day. So I mentioned she comes out at the beginning to introduce whatever the thing is and say hello. She does not come out in the middle while we're getting ready for snack and doing our little mini lesson. And then of course she comes out at the end to sing a little goodbye song, and she gives everybody a stamp before they leave. So if you guys have questions about how to best use your puppets, leave them in the comments. We want to try to do some live like Q&A. So I don't know if we can.
Mary is, she said someone is a flight attendant and she's gonna take the puppet.
That's fun. That's awesome.
The bird had a good time. We had pictures of the ticket agent. The only one I didn't get was the TSA agent.
They were not that friendly at LAX.
I'm afraid of them. So I'm just like, I don't think I want to be on that list.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of scrolling through the comments.
You just have to make sure you keep it really simple. You don't have to overthink it.
Somebody asked, do we use her to teach one specific thing? And the answer is no. We try to pick whatever they need. So if we're talking about, I don't know what, if we're talking about gingerbread, she might bring out a root of ginger. Instead of me just saying, here's what we're gonna talk about, a root of ginger, Betsy has it. I'm like, wow, Betsy, this smells so interesting. You know, what is it? Or, you know, she's like the key, the exciting anticipatory thing that we use at the beginning of each lesson to get their attention.
We'll also use her for role playing. So if you want to demonstrate how to share, Betsy can be part of that. Sometimes Jamie and I role play that, but if we add Betsy in,
Betsy's usually the naughty one, right? So like if our preschoolers tend to think sharing means they get what they want when they ask for it, rather than they have to wait their turns. It could be Daffy Duck too. Rather than like, I'd like a turn with that, may I have a turn when you're done? They feel like if I say, can I have it? And somebody doesn't give it to them, they're like, he didn't share. And so we need to do more of it actually next week, but role playing with Betsy, how if Betsy has something I want, we can take turns with it. Debbie, hey Debbie, how are you doing? She asked, the kids ever try to take Betsy out?
Nope.
No.
they don't.
It's almost too tall for Gemma to reach.
I know. I can just about get that.
She can get her out. It's up I'm teasing you. Gemma's
pretty high up.
It's pretty high up over our
It's too high
easel.
for them. They wouldn't be able to reach him.
But we just sort of, and somebody else somebody else had asked earlier, how do I introduce it the first time? You know, like, do I explain, okay, I'm gonna take a puppet out?
No, we just do it.
No, we just go for it. Especially at the beginning of the school year, like they don't know if they're coming or going, right? So we just pull it out and make it like it's normal. Like, this is how we do school.
Like any job is normal when you're holding a puppet to sing at the end of the day. Maybe that would make other jobs more fun.
I think everybody needs to have a puppet in a mailbox.
I mentioned that to my husband. Maybe that would have
The chores would be more fun at home if you had a puppet to tell you to do them.
Or making your own kids do what they're supposed to do.
The puppet says you need to put your laundry away. We don't actually, this is our 14th school year, we've never had a child try to get the bird out of the mailbox. I think we present it in such like a magical, mystical way of like, pulling it out. We always knock on the mailbox door and they call her Betsy because she takes a nap when they're working, and then open it. We've never had a kid try to get her out. No.
And sometimes she has little presents for them.
She does bring little awards if somebody's lost a tooth or has a birthday or does something really well in the classroom, uses the potty for the first time or something like that. She'll always have a little award certificate in the mailbox, and I'll put the flag up if there's a letter for the kids in there or a present or something for the kids. She's the one who gives out books at Christmas time. You know, she has the presents. They're never from us. They're always from Betsy. She's the one who gives out the Valentines. Again, not from us.
She's there when we sing happy birthday to
Always
the
from
kid.
Betsy, yes.
She's there singing too.
Let's see, what other kind of questions do you guys have for us about the puppets? I like that somebody says that your puppet doesn't like loud noises, so it goes away when it gets too crazy. Good thinking.
I like that too.
Good thinking,
And
see?
it actually works. When you get Ollie out, Ollie doesn't come out every year, but always like, she's so shy. She doesn't like loud noises, and it really does work. And sometimes they're loud in the class. I'm like, Ollie is really shy. You don't want to frighten her.
That's one of the wonderful things about teaching this age group is they are so innocent. It does not take much to get them to believe hook, line, and sinker. And I really don't feel like it's lying to them. It's just really tapping into this innocence and this sense of wonder that they have around school. And it's just really magical, right? So I would love to hear if you have a puppet already in your classroom. I know some of you watched the video that I did over the summer last year for the Sort of Success Summit. So I know some of you are already using puppets. But
Are they allowed to put pictures
yes,
in?
leave us a
Take
picture.
a picture and put it in the comments so we can see it.
We want to see your class puppet. So if you have other questions, leave them and we'll try to log on later and answer. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we answered all the questions.
And we
that are
gotta
on there.
remember to put that.
We've got the whole puppet. Can you imagine if they
Bailey's
walked
going
in?
there for tomorrow. So if you're coming to school tomorrow with us, don't tell your kids that this
Betsy's done with this snow.
Bailey
She's out.
is going in.
We're gonna put the penguin in. That'll keep their attention. Yes. Hi. They do say that they can see you talking. Yeah, true enough. Her voice isn't very loud. I have to help. Most of the time, you know, when they start to turn 5, they'll be like, I think you put Betsy in the mailbox. And I'll be like,
Yep.
you know, yep. I like how you're thinking. Or they'll say, I can see your mouth moving. And I'm like, yeah, I'm talking with her. That's
And then
what we
I like
do.
it when she does go to Florida and like, well, how did she get it? She doesn't actually have wings, so I think she went in an airplane.
And they'll say, did she really?
Did she really fly?
And I'm like, what do you think? Yeah,
She's not here.
she did. She's not here. So how are we going to do that? They have that Squawker the parrot. Maybe that's what we should name him, Squawker the parrot.
Oh,
Does he
it's
have a name
parrot. You're right.
Does he have a name tag?
I don't know.
You should try to cut
He's
them off.
really
He's
big.
really loud and big. I wonder if he does.
Yeah, maybe.
The
Who knows?
Puppet Company from the UK.
Oh.
He's loud though. I don't know.
It's not like Bailey. She doesn't make any noise.
Do you guys think we're crazy that we have all these puppets? Just asking. Okay, I have a
Ask
child.
questions we don't want to know the answers to.
Jennifer says, I have a child that will ask if it's me talking, but they're never really sure. That's kind of how our kids are too. Like they ask the questions, which is fine, and I'll usually just wink or,
It's normally
you know,
the beginning of the year, and then they just kind of accept it.
I think they just know we're crazy.
I don't think it's crazy. I think if they
It's a little
just
crazy.
accept it as like a norm.
It's the norm in preschool. There's a puppet in a mailbox. All right, so that's all we have. Sorry, that's all we have for you this afternoon. We hope you always have fun playing and learning with your preschoolers.
I'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.